Alrighty then, here we go. Let's see if we can add some navigation to our timelines. I'm going to start with a mock timeline that I've been working on in Photoshop. The size of the Photoshop file is 700 pixels wide by 4,000 pixels tall. I just threw some stuff together. It has some places on it where we can set navigation to run to in this long page. So I'm also going to use my Eric Myers reset in this version. So in my sites folder, first thing, file new folder, and we'll call it timeline 4. Okay. And that being done, let me drop these two assets into that folder right now. Okay, so you can see that they're in there. Alright, off to Dreamweaver. Site, new site, timeline 4. Navigate to where it is, and it's right here, and say choose, and then say save. Now, let me do that one more time. File, new. I just hit Command new. Blank, HTML, none, HTML5. And here I'm going to link that Myers Reset Revise. So click it, browse for it. It should be in the first folder it comes to because we set our site up at the beginning. So there it is. I'll say OK. OK, and OK. Create. So here's my link to the Myers Reset, which is in my folder. I can see it right here. And it's kind of the long link. Okay, this is an absolute link. And when I save this page, which I'm going to do right now, file save, it'll change it to a relative link, which is a much shorter link. Since this is the only page in my timeline, I'm going to call it index. Alright, see our link now, how much shorter it is. All it says is, hey, Eric Myers.css, or the Myers Reset Revise, is right next door to my HTML document. Don't have to go up and down in the folder structure, just right there. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is click over here in the design side, and I'm going to insert from my insert panel, my comment panel, a div tag. The div tag, I'm going to go ahead and give a ID of container. And I'm right now, instead of saying OK, I'm going to start my rule because I already know how I'm going to style this. So it's giving me class, or the ID of container for the selector, and I'll say OK to that. And here's what I'd like to do. I would like to make the background image my mock timeline. I would also like to have the width be 700 and the height be 4,000, because that's the size of the document I'm placing in that folder. And the other thing I want it to do is float from left to right, so it always stays in the middle of the screen. I'm going to do that with margin here. Turn off same for all, and just pick auto for right and auto for left. And that should float it in the middle of that browser window. I'll say OK, I'll say OK, and there it is. Alright, it's all in there. If we go to design view and hit live, give it a second, we can see that it's floating in the center of that window. Okay? Alright. Back to split view. Right now I have this selected where it says content for ID container goes here. And I'm going to type my navigation right there, right on the screen over here. Okay? So I've got that selected, and my content for that navigation are going to be the years that I have set up down the page. So the first year is 1958, and then I'm going to hit return and type 1976, return 19 80, return, and 1984. And you can see over here that inside my div container, it added 4 paragraph tags. So with these selected over here, I'm going to come down to my properties, make sure this is on HTML, and then I'm going to go to go past paragraph, past class, past bold and italic, and go right here to this unordered list. An ordered list has numbers, and an unordered list has bullets. So here's the little bullets, you can see them right there. We're going to get rid of the bullets, and we're going to also string this navigation bar out so that it's horizontal and not vertical. And we're going to do that by styles. But when I change that to an unordered list, look what happened over here. I have this new tag, UL, unordered list, and my paragraph tags all turned to LI tags, which are list item tags. So I have another thing to style over here, which is nice. So let's think of each of these things. Everywhere there's a tag, think of it as being a place that has a box around it. Even the type has a box around it. And you can see it's gray right now, that box. The UL is another box around all of this stuff. Okay, so I can control the UL separately from the LIs. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is, I'm going to make sure I don't miss anything. I'm going to make a new, I'm going to make these into links. So if I double click right on the year, I'm going to make it think it's a link by typing a hashtag here, or #, or an octothorpe, if you so desire, and then hitting enter. And that makes it think I have a link now. Okay, it added the A tag, href, and then the octothorpe as a link. Alright, so I'm going to fake all of these out, double click here, and do the same thing. Don't forget to hit return. And of course the style reverts to the standard blue type with the blue underline. So we need to fix that in our styles, because we don't want that. Yuck. Alright, so now that these are all links, I'm going to make a style for the UL itself. So if I click here in the UL and look at my tag selector, I have UL at the end here. I should be able to go to my my CSS styles, make a new style, and it should pop up. It has a compound selector. I only want the UL part, so I'm going to make this less specific. Okay, and in my for my UL style, I'm only going to do one thing. I am going to go to list, and I'm going to change the style type to none. And if I apply that, you'll watch the bullets up here. They'll disappear. Bye-bye. That's all I want to do for the UL style right now. Okay. Next, I'm going to make a rule for the LI. So I'm going to come out down here and click on the LI, and I can see that's my last tag in the tag selector. So if I make a new CSS rule here, I'll have container, a compound selector that says any LI tag in the UL tag in the container will be styled, and I'm going to make that less specific, and I will say OK to that. And here I just want to make one rule, and that is going to be under block and display inline. Okay, and if I apply that, my text should straighten out and be now all in a line. Okay, so far so good. Alright, now comes the tricky part. We're going to make one of those compound selectors that has the rollover state and all that stuff. Remember, the link and the visited. So I'm clicking out here in the A section so that my last tag here is A. So now I have the container, the UL, the LI, and the A tag. And when I make a new rule for this one, I'll make it less specific. But this is the part where I type the colon, not a semicolon, a colon, link, comma, space, UL, LI, same as in the first part, A, colon, and visited. Alright, it should look just like this. I shall say OK to this. All right, now I'm going to start to style that so it looks more like navigation. I'm going to choose, and you can style this any way you want to. I'm just picking this stuff out of my memory from doing this in my rehearsal. So my font size I want here about 16 pixels. The color of the type is going to be black. I'm going to apply those things so that you can see it here. I don't want that underlined, so my text decoration is going to be none. It disappears. My background color, I'm going to pick a gold color. That one right there should work. If I apply that, you'll see that box lights up. Now I want those to be a little bit whiter. So I'm going to go to box and I'm going to pad them out, but not the same in all directions. So the top 3 pixels, the right 20 pixels, bottom 3 pixels, left 20 pixels. And if I apply that, you'll see they stretch out a little bit. Okay. And then next I want a little space between each of these. So I'm going to turn margin, same for all, off. And then on the right hand side of that, I'm going to add maybe 15 pixels and take a look at that. That seems fine. That seems about fine. Maybe we'll do 20. What the heck? 18. That's what we're going to do. 18. Yes, much, much better now. Okay. And that's all I'm going to do right here. So I'm going to say OK to that. And now I have two over here. If I look at my my CSS styles, I have my Eric Myers or my Myers rules in here, and I also have my styles that I've added to this page. And because I only have one page, I'm going to leave them all inside the document itself. So before I make my rollover state for this, I'm going to push this navigation down under this title. So I'm going to go back to the UL, which controls all of these as one unit. Remember, it looks like this here, right? So I'm going to go to that UL rule and double click it, and I'm going to push it down so that it ends up under my, my title here. And I'm going to do that with position. I want to make sure that the position is relative. And relative just means it's going to be relative to the container that it's in. And it's in container. It's in this div container over here. And then I'm going to push it down from the top about 130 pixels. And from the left about 70 pixels. And I'm going to take a look at that and see what it looks like. And that works for me. Maybe 67 pixels. Much better. Okay, now I'm going to go make my rollover. So I'm going to take this, my link and visited state. I'm going to go up here to this little flyout menu. You could right click or control click on this, but this little flyout menu will also, oh no, you can't see it, so I am going to right click on it. Sorry. And I'm going to duplicate it. But trust me, if you go to this flyout menu, it has the same stuff in it. Okay? And I'm going to change link to hover, and I'm going to change visited to active, and I will say OK. Now I need to change something about this rule so that when I roll over it, we'll see a change. I'm going to make that gold color. Oh, we can't see any of this, can we? I'm just going to make it a little bit darker and say OK. And I'm going to make the text color turn to white. Okay, so it's not working now because we are not in live view. So if I change it to live view, I should start seeing that change. Okay, so there's the navigation. It's links, they're links, but they're linked to nothing. So the next thing we're going to do is add those links. So come right back.